It's a good one. How does the Ojas get transformed or convert into the semen? Now let's make it a layman version of how this works. I'm not really a proponent of like reading text and scriptures and then reciting it. It doesn't have, it lacks power. It lacks vibration. I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm not saying that people do that. It's a waste of time. I mean, they can't help it anyway. Most don't have the actual experience of this. If you have the actual experience about something, then you can articulate it in some way. You don't need to go to college. You just ask yourself, okay, what's the experience? Oh yeah, it's like this. That's what you do. Ojas is essence. It's energy. Ojas isn't physical. Semen's physical. But the Ojas, it turns into the semen. It turns into everything, actually. It makes the whole body. The whole body, the substratum of the physical body and the organs and the muscles. Didn't I describe this a few times? The Ojas is the last thing that the body makes. It's said, I don't know, I haven't counted the drops of blood. I don't know. But it said, the Ayurveda says it takes 40 drops of blood to make 1 drop of Ojas. It doesn't know either, but it's pointing to the significance of Ojas. So the food that you eat and what you drink, the body converts that into Ojas. No, it does, but it does it later. First, it converts it into blood. And then, first it converts it into plasma, then into blood, then into muscles, and then into bone, then bone marrow. You see how we're getting deeper, more subtle, more important things, body parts? We're getting subtle now. After the bone marrow, then the nerves. After the nervous system, what's more subtle than that? Ojas. Then it makes the Ojas. So it takes a lot of work to make the Ojas. All right. The Ojas is more subtle than the nervous system. You can't really, it's very intangible. So what happens? Ojas is like potential. That energy, it's potential. Now, let's talk about the positive side first. Let's say somebody, they're not losing their semen. Their mind's clean, their heart's pure. For the most part, nobody's perfect. There's no perfect human personality, ever. We're all in a state of continuous evolution. I liked what Muji says. He says, you can say the human being, human soul, entity, individual sense of self, whatever words you want to use. It's like this law of evolution. It's similar to how a mango on a tree just keeps getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, but never gets overripe. That means we can always realize our true nature more deeply, but you never have any kind of flagpost spiritual awakening. It's impossible. So let's say a being is he's aware to some degree of his spiritual nature, therefore that wisdom bleeds through into his human life, and he's doing things that increase his life force. He's not wasting it. Okay, so when the body makes the Ojas, automatically, this subtle essence is going to start to travel up. There's certain laws of the universe, right? Things that are more, we can use the Bible as a metaphor for this. Because when you hear about the angels and you hear about heaven, they always insinuate it's up and hell is down. It's really not the case. There's no up or down. Heaven and hell are, they're different realms. They're not like up and down. But we can't tune to that realm right now because the consciousness is tuned to this realm. So the point that I'm trying to make is the more higher the frequency, the more upward. See, because people want to know, how do I transmute the energy? How do I sublimate the energy? How do I make it go up? You see, the mind's trying to beat this thing. It wants to do it. And I keep saying it can't do it. It's impossible to do it. Your mind's not strong enough to make your energy go up. And you can do the mudras, Ashrini mudra, and the bandhas all day long. Special breath work. You'll end up hurting yourself is what you'll do. This happens automatically. I've said it before in videos, but I never described it. But see, this is what's happening. We're getting deeper now on this channel, and so we got to start, we got to start bringing it to the next level. No more talk about female attraction. My penis grows, gets bigger now when I'm doing semen retention. All this stuff like, oh, I'm gonna get rich and all that. We gotta, can't talk about that because it's boring. So when you live in a clean life, inside and out, your frequency is going to be higher. So this Ojas, this subtle essence, it's going to start to raise. So you have the physical body, okay? Those who've had a near-death experience, those who have astral projected, those who have had some deep meditation, you know that you also have a more subtle or astral body underneath this body. This astral body, that's what's responsible for making this body work. It's the life force. It animates this physical body. You'll find this out when you leave your physical body. Doesn't matter if you believe it exists or not, you're going to find out. It's like the sun shines, it doesn't care who believes in it. Just certain things are what they are, beyond opinion. So, this astral body, it has centers in it. Some you can call it chakras, energy centers. This Ojas is more in that dimension. It's more in our astral body than our physical body. It's also in our physical body, but that's why I say it's like potential. So the Ojas, when we're living a clean life, that frequency makes this life force start to go up. Starts to go up in our astral body. Our centers from, like the chest up, those centers are higher. The centers below that, they're lower. They're responsible for our sense pleasures and instincts and, addictions, etc. Nothing's bad or good. Like they're all good. They're all necessary. I'm just saying. Heart chakra, responsible more. You'll feel more of an unconditional love for people and compassion. Throat chakra, you'll be able to express yourself. You'll see what your dharma is in this life, what your function is to fulfill. And then etc. I don't like talking about them too much because it's not my thing. I'm not here to. People get too lost in this. The mind likes mystical stuff, and I'm like, you'll experience all that. Just wait till you experience it. There's no need to read about it and hear about it now. It makes things worse. You start to think you understand something that you don't. It's best just to chill. I keep saying that. So when you live in a clean life, this Ojas, this subtle energy, life force, starts to go up. It starts to unlock these other centers, you see? So it's like when your energy's more up, you're not gonna, it's not down, you're not gonna be thinking about lust and sex. You're on you're living in a different world. Where am I at? You see what I mean? It's not like you're holding the spring down like really tight because you really want to act out, but I'm not going to do it. No, that's a stage. Like we have to pass through that. But when you're in your higher self, you're in a different, you have a different like software. You have a different motherboard, a different chip. This is called organic. That's what has to happen. You can't just fight this thing. So that's what happens. That's why I made my other channel, Transcending Shadows, and also Spiritual Renaissance, because it's all about having a healthy, clean, lifestyle. But not I'm not preaching, be saintly. No, it's common sense. These things become common sense. Spirituality, having a clean life, it's just common sense. It's not a dogma or something. So, now, the opposite of that. This is how the Ojas gets converted into semen. Took 9 minutes and 40 seconds to get here, but so what? So when we're still stuck in habits, in addictions, in patterns, in lust, and our instincts, then that Ojas, that energy, because our addictions and habits and everything, because they're not high frequency, they're more material. So guess what? The Ojas takes a more material form. It becomes more material, hence semen, becomes semen. So it's our frequency and our daily lifestyle habits that determine if the Ojas stays as Ojas and sublimates, or if it gets converted into semen and then goes down. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Was that pun? Maybe. So then, when it converts into semen, semen's heavier. Semen goes down. Remember the law? Things that are more subtle and high frequency, it's very light. It goes up. Semen's heavier, goes down. Okay, so it goes down, and then it starts to put pressure on the sexual apparatus. And then that activates the mind. And then lust starts to come. Edging, wanting to go, indulge in whatever, PMO and sex or whatever. So then we end up acting out. Because the body, we have to release the semen somehow. So this is how it works. You understand? That's it. That's the message. Yeah, let me know you have any questions.